Chinese motorcycles used to have a reputation for being cheap, poorly built, and barely hanging on past the warranty. But that stereotype is fading fast. The last few years have seen a serious shift. Brands from China are now pumping out bikes that look good, ride even better, and won't burn a hole in your wallet. So if you're hunting for performance and value, here are 10 Chinese motorcycles that are absolutely worth your money. 10. Lex Moto LXS SE125. Small displacement bikes aren't usually known for making too much of an impression, but the Lex Moto LXS SE125 is one of the few bikes that breaks that mold. Right out of the gate, the design turns heads. It's sharp, modern, and looks far more aggressive than you'd expect from a 125cc machine. From the fairings to the twin LED headlights, this thing wouldn't look out of place next to sports bikes twice its size. Performance-wise, it's powered by a liquid-cooled, fuel-injected 125°cc engine that makes around 13 horsepower. Sure, that's not going to throw you back in your seat, but that's not what this bike is about. It's built for new riders who want something that feels fast, nimble, and confidence-inspiring right from day one. The handling is tight. The seat height is approachable, and at just $3,000, it's easy on the wallet too. The LXS SE125 might be small, but it punches way more than its weight. But if you think the LXS SE125 is impressive, wait till you see this next bike. Before we continue, if you want to see more of our videos, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell. 9. Herald Brute 500. Unlike most American and Japanese bikes, the Herald Brute 500 doesn't follow trends. It builds its own path. There's a raw, industrial quality to this bike that sets it apart from most middleweight machines. From the moment you see it, the Brute looks like it rolled straight out of a custom garage. Wide bars, blocky tank design, beefy frame, and those high-mounted twin exhausts. It doesn't feel mass-produced, even though it's backed by Chinese manufacturing power. Underneath that bold exterior sits a 449cc single-cylinder engine, producing about 43 horsepower. It's air and oil-cooled, which adds to the old-school toughness. But it still performs well in real-world riding. Priced at around $7,200, it's not aiming to be the cheapest option in the class, but that's not what this bike is about. You're paying for attitude, design, and a riding experience that feels unfiltered. The Brute 500 is bold and beautiful, but this next bike takes a different approach. 8. Zanti's 310X GP. Some bikes make their presence known before you even hit the ignition. The Zanti's 310X GP is one of those machines. Its sharp, almost sci-fi styling immediately catches the eye, with aggressive bodywork, angular panels, and a swooping windscreen that looks like it belongs on a concept bike. But what really sets it apart is how much tech Zontes has packed into a motorcycle that costs just $5,000. You get a 312cc single-cylinder engine, producing a healthy 35 horsepower, which is more than enough for spirited rides and even some light touring. But beyond performance, the 310X GP surprises you with features typically reserved for bikes in a much higher price bracket. We're talking keyless ignition, electric windshield adjustment, electronic fuel cap, a slick TFT dash, and even backlit switches. Zontes stacked this bike with amazing features, and it was worth it. But if you think the 310X GP is filled with insane tech features, this next bike will blow your mind. 7. Voge 500 DSX. Adventure bikes are often judged by their ability to do it all. Commute during the week, disappear on gravel trails over the weekend, and feel composed doing both. The Voge 500 DSX nails that formula. It's not flashy, but it's purposeful. Designed with long-distance travel and light off-roading in mind, this bike quietly competes with more established mid-weight ADVs at a much friendlier price of $6,000. Powered by a 471cc parallel twin engine that produces around 47 horsepower, the DSX offers smooth, manageable power that's ideal for extended rides. The engine itself is based on Honda's bulletproof CB500 platform, which means you're getting proven reliability baked into the core. Add in a 19-inch front wheel, wire spoke rims, and long travel suspension, and the Voge 500 DSX becomes a very convincing all-rounder. Voge is one of the best bike manufacturers in China, and this bike is proof of that. But even as good as the 500 DSX is, this next bike is even better. 6. CFMoto 450 MT. CFMoto has been making waves for years, but the 450 MT feels like a milestone for the company. It's not just a good Chinese adventure bike, it's a good adventure bike, period. At $6,500, it lands in the sweet spot for riders who want real off-road chops without draining their savings. The 450 MT uses a 449cc parallel twin engine that cranks out 44 horsepower and 32 pounds-foot of torque. It's tuned with adventure in mind, torquey, tractable, and perfectly matched to a wide ratio gearbox that gives it both low-speed control and highway cruising ability. Where it really impresses, though, is in its chassis. It features a full 21-inch front and 18-inch rear wheel combo, KYB long travel suspension, and a rugged frame that's ready to take some hits. The 450 MT isn't just another affordable adventure bike, it's a well-rounded platform for real exploration. But if you want something even better, check out this next bike. If you're enjoying the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. 5. Lex Moto Pioneer 500X. The Lex Moto Pioneer 500X quietly fills a gap in the market. It's an adventure-style bike with practical features, an approachable size, and a price tag that doesn't scare off first-time buyers. At just $4,500, it's one of the most accessible ways to get into the ADV scene without sacrificing style or function. What you get is a 471cc parallel twin engine delivering around 47 horsepower, a familiar setup with smooth linear power delivery and enough grunt for highway speeds. It's not pretending to be a Dakar machine, but it's capable enough for long rides, weekend detours, and light trails. The riding position is upright and relaxed. The windscreen actually helps its speed, and the seat is designed for comfort over long stretches. If you're looking for a budget-friendly adventure bike that feels well thought out, you should definitely check out the Pioneer 500X. But if you want something even better, you need to see this next bike. 4. Moto Marini Seamezo. With a name like Seamezo, you'd expect something with a bit of flair, and Moto Marini delivers. The brand might be rooted in Italian heritage, but thanks to Chinese ownership, it now blends classic European design with efficient manufacturing, which is exactly what you get with this $7,800 retro-styled roadster. This bike isn't just a looker, it's also got substance. Underneath the sleek bodywork is a 649cc parallel twin that puts out around 61 horsepower, offering smooth acceleration and just enough grunt to keep things interesting. The bike also features a TFT screen, LED lighting, and Bosch ABS, adding a premium touch without inflating the price. The Seamezo is proof that Chinese-backed brands are more than capable of delivering a top-shelf experience. But if you think this bike is incredible, wait till you see what's next. 3. Benelli Leonino 800 Trail. At the higher end of the Benelli lineup is the Leonino 800 Trail, a scrambler-style machine that knows how to make an entrance. Everything about this bike, from the high-mounted twin exhaust to the retro tank design and wire-spoked wheels, screams rugged cool. But make no mistake, this is more than just a styling exercise. For a price of around $9,000, you're getting a brawny 754cc parallel twin that cranks out about 76 horsepower and 49 pounds-foot of torque. It's torquey down low, responsive in the mid-range, and paired with a chassis that encourages you to ride a little harder. In addition, the ride is comfortable, The upright bars give great control, and it handles everything from city commutes to backroad blasts with ease. It feels planted, sure-footed, and surprisingly premium when you're behind the bars. Benelli has come a long way with the Leonino line, and the 800 Trail is the flagship proof. It's stylish, capable, and just wild enough to feel like an adventure every time you swing a leg over. But it's not the only Benelli on this list, because this next bike is even better. 2. Benelli TNT 600i. The Benelli TNT 600i doesn't try to hide what it is. It's loud, muscular, and unapologetically old school in all the right ways. This is a middleweight naked bike that leans into its raw personality, backed by a growling inline-4 engine that makes it stand out in a world filled with twins and singles. At $7,000, the TNT 600i offers something that's becoming rare in this price range: a 4-cylinder engine. It produces around 81 horsepower, which is more than enough to satisfy thrill seekers without being too much for newer riders. The power comes on smooth but builds with that signature 4-cylinder surge, especially as you get up into the higher revs. It's also a surprisingly well-built machine. The frame is sturdy, the suspension setup is balanced for both urban riding and weekend blasts, and the bike feels solid underneath you. In general, it's simply a great bike. But that doesn't mean there isn't something better than it, because this next bike offers way more than you can ask. 1. Evoke 6061 GT. Of all the bikes we've talked about, the Evoke 6061 GT is in a league of its own. This isn't just a Chinese motorcycle, it's a full-blown electric powerhouse built to challenge the status quo. With a premium price of $25,000, it's by far the most expensive bike on this list. But it's also the most ambitious. The 6061 GT is equipped with a 120 kW motor and a colossal 30 kWh battery pack, giving it a jaw-dropping torque and an estimated city range of over 360 miles. That kind of performance pushes it squarely into sport touring territory, with acceleration that rivals leader-class bikes, and does it all silently. But Evoke didn't stop at performance. The bike's billet aluminum frame is a visual statement, carved and polished with a level of detail that turns heads even before anyone notices it's electric. There's a massive TFT dash, built-in connectivity, and Regan braking that makes city riding feel smoother and more controlled. The Evoke 6061 GT is one wild, futuristic ride that proves Chinese innovation isn't just catching up, it's leading in a few places. Which one of these bikes would you consider buying? Also, do you think Chinese bikes are getting better than American and Japanese brands? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more of our videos.